So today we are very happy to welcome our speaker. He is an ordained minister from Circle. He is a staff and teacher in our ministry school in the class of 2025. He's very active in the Circle community, and he has just agreed to be our treasurer again. So very happy about that. He is a healer. He wants to help others uncover their inner light and how to navigate life's challenges with grace. He's guided by a vision. He empowers others to develop their intuitive abilities, and he creates a safe space, sacred space for learning, self-discovery, and growth. And today, I think there's going to be multiple things he's talking about. I can go. You can what? Okay. So he's going to give us an inspiring and uplifting talk. And with that, I'm going to say, let's welcome Michael Camut.
All right, thank you, Linda. And welcome. I will tell you the synchronicity of everything is that, can you put that on gallery, please? Thank you. I can tell you the synchronicity of everyone's talk just to get me here was that, you were opening up and Jed, we're talking about the I ams and universal minds. And that's a little bit what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you a little bit of where I've been, how I got here in front of you, and also what sparked my interest. And maybe there's a little bit of that's going to be sparking for you. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of my experience, and I'm going to dive in. If you ever heard me talk before, you heard, like I would say, a layer. Now I'm going to go into a little bit deeper. And so you're going to hear a little bit of the inner workings of my philosophies and thoughts. And so in the beginning, I can tell you that I was sitting in a church, and all of a sudden the vibration and feeling didn't align. Okay. And so I don't have the exact feeling because I don't like to bring those thoughts into mind, but it just was something that was uneasy. You knew you were somewhere that you really, it's time to, and it served me at the time. So there's no wrong and it's just all evolution in a journey. And so for everywhere we are and everywhere we've been, we are meant to be having that experience of that outwardness. And so that's where I was. I was having that experience. And I was having an experience because I was loving it. I was in full alignment of that. And then when you become, I would say, a little bit moving, because I just want to be clear that thought, our evolution, is never static. We're never still. We're always moving. And when you see that, when you feel that, we actually have this motion, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh gosh, what am I doing here? Is there more? I know there's more, right? But you don't know that at these moments. And this is where our family decided to try out the spiritual community in this area. And this is we are blessed to be in Bucks County. Let me just tell you, there is so many beautiful spiritual communities around, and everyone is beautiful and heart-centered and just the way you need to show up. And so then we actually went and we established ourselves at another community, and we found out a few different places of that. And it was a science of mind. And the science of mind, they're heart-centered, but also have a vibration about them that was loving. And so we went there and we transitioned ourselves and our family. I remember that because I can remember my wife wasn't even pregnant yet with our second child. And that was 23 years ago in the journey. And I would tell you that stepping foot into a new vibration is what it took. Finding that community that you felt over to the left of you was good at the time, And now you move into an area where it felt better. And that moving continued. So we established ourselves there, but yet we still moved around. And we moved around to a few other communities around, the spiritual communities. And then we found Circle. And the vibration here is certainly always moving. There was so many different speakers here, and we just happened to connect with. And so I will tell you then my next journey happened when I had the next moment is to get involved with the ministry. And it's not like I wanted to be a minister. It's the idea that I wanted to experience my own self. And that is where I then joined in the ministry to that next level, the next motion. And I know we're working with 7 beautiful ministers in training, and then they are going through similar experiences as you feel that you're moving forward. And I felt like I was coming out of my spiritual closet, allowing myself to talk to my true essence. And that is revolutionary, it really is. When you're sitting next to somebody and you feel that you were able to communicate and how you are from it in depth. And then this is where I actually heard the word, first of all, archetype. And so what the archetype is that it's like an inside, it's your driving force. Some of us have certain drives. Mine was really with energy. Mine was working with healing and helping people. That was my innate, I knew it. You just know it. And that's how, if you're wondering what your archetypes are, just think about what is driving you. When you wake up in the morning, are you, what is that part? Helping somebody. That was mine. And then I would tell you the community. Now, this is the next layer of where I'm in front of you. The next layer is I was part of a spiritual community, Science of Mind, and basically this guy, 1920, there was actually a new thought movement in 1920. There was people like Emerson and Troward who were writing philosophies about the new thought. And that was in the 20s. And this guy who was so influenced and wanted to understand how the mind worked with this thought process, he decided to discover. And science, and guess what science is? Science is a process of discovering. They don't invent, right? They just discover what's going on. And there's actually a law out there, a law of mind and how you work. And what he found was the greatest discovery was the mind. And this is going back into what even Jet was saying, is the universal mind, thoughts. And thoughts, I can tell you, they have reactions. So every thought you have, there is a reaction. You have the ability of free will. And along with free will, you have free choice. And there's a big difference between free will and free choice, meaning that you have the free will, but you choose what to do next. And I can tell you the idea is that your thought always goes first, followed by your experience. And so that being said, your thoughts create your experience. I'm standing outside going to my car, decided not to put my coat on, and it was cold. Was that my experience? I don't really know. I just wanted to go to my car. That wasn't my experience of just being cold. I was here to be here. And that was my layer of how experience, I can tell you. And so you have the conscious. So we consciously co-create our realities. And that is the science of the mind. And that is the essence of what is going to happen next. So I can tell you every thought out there are not equal. The thoughts respond according to the intensity of the thought. And so I restate it. Not all thoughts are created equal. If you think about it, I'm hungry is a thought. is less enduring than if I am on a first date with your loved one, and those thoughts of love and cherish. You can just feel the differences of those experiences. One's coming from a heart center, the other one is not. It's coming from inside. And so there are reactions to your thoughts. There are physical reactions. And this is one layer I'm going to take next deeper, is that your thoughts are reality. And I would say to one more on top of what Ernest Holmes, I didn't even bring up the person's name, Ernest Holmes, when he talked about the difference is on the sciences of mind, is that the next layer is thoughts or energy. And so when we're talking about energy, we're talking about the universe, talking about how we move on. And so for everything we think, there is reaction. So thoughts are reactions. And then, of course, I am here now talking about energy. And this is my understandings, the way I stand. And this is where I'm going to take you to the next level, is how I go into healing. And so when I do energy healing, all of this I just talked to you about is just like kind of the science behind everything. And I'm going to get into the energy side of things. For every thought there is, it can be undone. So if you're there thinking, and I can just let you know a lot what I work with, is that, well, someone coming in here, they may have a chronic, or they may have a headache or something like that. Well, there's an energy pattern, a thought that may have occurred there. They might have been stressed out. They might have been uneasy. And then this is energy that is going out into the universe and actually to yourself and creating an energy pattern and causing different parts of you that are affected. And yes, we are affected by energy. We are affected. We are vibration. That's what we are. 432 hertz of the universe frequency, right? This is what we have, this natural frequency and vibration. And as we come into there, we can undo any of the thoughts. And there's even some thoughts that says, for every thought we have is all in the mind. Our mind keeps all of our thoughts. And so I know I work with internally, knowing full well that for every grace that we have able to share with everyone, is that as we come in, I can now help anyone based on the thought process that their body was affected by energy. The energy was created by thought. And if it was created by energy and by thought, then of course I can help, right? And now there's some things and there's some parts about it is where we unconsciously, subconsciously create thoughts automatically. And I appreciate that. People, the way we grow up, we have different tendencies, different thought processes, and they can change over time. And so when working with that, I, of course, then go back and I then take a look and I try to disrupt that pattern. And so if there's energy, then there's a pattern. And that energy pattern is what's causing the disruptions. And that disruptions is something I can work with. And as soon as I discover what that is, then you start working and saying, okay, I get it. My one organ or your one organ or somebody's organ is just not really in alignment anymore. And it's not that it doesn't want to be in alignment, it's just that we're telling it not to be in alignment. And that's the thing. And if I can actually identify, so one thing I want to make clear is that when you work with energy, you're working with the after the fact. You're working with it post. I always like to say, you want to be proactive? Well, you have to go back to what's going on. You don't go into, so there's multiple things you want to do. And you're going to I always say, go into the doctors, okay? And I go in there every week because for whatever reason, I close the door in my hand sometimes. This is just, I'm just telling a story, right? It's not true. And so you go in there and you get it fixed. You go home, you're happy for 6 more days. And you go in there again. And you go back and you get it fixed for 6 more days. Anyways, the point is that you have to realize your experiences, your reality, all of that is affected by energy patterns that you have 100% control of. Now, I'm going to get into another layer, is that because everybody is empowered to have these thoughts, ability to have the experiences and create energies and energy patterns with themselves. Well, guess what? Other people can too. And so when I work with somebody, they come and they're asking me to help out. By the way, I'm having this situation. And then I say, okay, let's get into it. And I know this is maybe taking a step for some people that I'm talking to or listening on YouTube after this. But the healer, the practitioner has and everyone has the ability to affect thought for others. And if you can grab that concept, you can basically getting closer to standing in where I'm at in my journey at this moment. Because if you understood that, then all of a sudden you can say, well, I'll help you. You're having a scenario going on. I have able to understand and I can help you with your thoughts. And the first thing I do is I ask your higher self, what's going on? I don't ask myself. And so when I get into that, I really dig into that layer. So that is where I stand with that. And I wanted to talk about thoughts, and then I want to go into prayers, because prayers and thoughts are the same part. And it's really not doing justice me talking about bringing up Ernest Holmes and the science of mind, understanding the full capability of prayer, because he basically has the oneness of prayer. And I want to bring that in because us understanding how we can create a reality is praying, and our thoughts are prayers. And so they're all intermingled between one another. And so basically, there's a lot of gratitude in thoughts, and there's a lot of love in the thoughts, and there's also prayers. And I just want to put out that when you work with the prayers, I just want to say that you are not pleading for something. You're not begging the universe for something. You're not requesting. But prayers are a present moment thought. I am healed. I am happy. I am. Those are the prayers. Santa will work them. And so that's the part about that. And I wanted to bring up, and I just wanted to say, like, who are all, is there any Reiki people or healers out there or wannabes? So yeah, and so there's quite a few. And I just wanted to put like a hands-on, just letting you know without having to put it in front of you, is that as you're giving Reiki, and I know as you're going over the body, I know when you have this person lying down, even if they're sitting in a chair, when you put your hands over the person throughout, you might pick up a hot spot. Anybody doing Reiki pick up, oh, there's a warm spot on this person, and they happen to know? Well, that warm spot is basically an energy pattern, a blockage, something that's not happy. And so Reiki, I mean, that was my first experience, is like, I didn't know if it was good or what's that feeling? Or you're warm here. I didn't, as I didn't just get certified. I tried Reiki out first, and I was like, what is that? And all of a sudden, then I go to another spot, and it's nice and cool, normal temperature. And then you go back over her knee. Guess what? Really warm. It's really good, I guess. But I find, there's, and she says later, oh yeah, my knee, it's really sore until you did Reiki, you Reiki, and it helped that out. And so I just want to know that energy has different forms. You can feel it, and you can actually do seeing over there too. You can ask where there's blockages. In fact, there was this one time I was doing energy work on somebody laying down, and I went down to her feet, and it was a different vibration, but it was nice, and it was warm, but it wasn't the same warm before. It was more like a vibration that felt kind of good. And I'm like, I had never felt this energy before. And I was so curious because I'm like, oh, there's something going on. I'm going to channel energy and healing and stuff for that. And after the session, I found out that her feet was that way because I found out that she actually takes walks almost every day in the woods, and she does walking meditations. She was so used to being grounded that it was second nature to her, and I felt that with her. And I can tell you, then talking about the universal mind and the thoughts and all the energy in your reality, your thoughts create reality, that she's always fully connected. And it was amazing to feel that connection. So, what else is there to talk about? I know I went pretty deep into my thoughts, universal thoughts, and how we affect others. I guess this is time I can pray for questions.